Hey guys, hello and welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. Welcome. So lots of things to talk about in regards of the current events. As everybody knows, geopolitically the tensions and situation in Ukraine, also situation in regards of inflation, roaring oil prices on the upside. So we're going to cover, as usual, a little bit of macro evaluation, what is going on the world markets, and then we'll switch to cryptos. You can leave your comments and also requests for some of the crypto pairs. Would you like to, if you would like to see them on the comments box in the YouTube? So let's not waste our time. Let's start and let's look a little bit what is going on the US 10-year yields. As we were looking in the last couple of weeks, we are seeing yields backing off currently. They are reached some of the levels we were looking for with a small overshoot. This is not really much. We have traded at 2.6. Now we are trading at 1.875. So the current wave count still stays in the ABC pullback. We didn't see a continuation on the upside, or we didn't see any major blow off from these levels. We will see how the markets will react when the US session opens today. And in regards of that, if we see something which can look like 5 waves down, definitely this wave count will kick in, which will actually look for a potential a broader correction in yields to the downside. I doubt in this situation Fed will raise rates for the 0.5 or 50 basis points in the next meeting. If we look at the CMA probability tool in regards to the March rates for the hike of 25 basis points stays at 82.8%. So the market is still pricing in. We will see one rate hike in March, which is, I think, already pretty much priced in regards of the rate hikes. But if we go further on a May, June, and even July, the rates are starting to drop now, and from the levels that we have seen on this probability tool in the last couple of weeks. So we will see what happened, but definitely in this situation, Fed is going to be stuck between the inflationary pressures and also I doubt that in current situation we will see the 50% or 50 basis points a rise in interest rates in regards of the move and the narrative that we will see from the Fed in the next meeting in March, which is in, I think, 2.5 weeks. I will stick to this scenario for now. It's currently working. So this divergence also that we noticed, it is actually unfolding on this weekly chart is pretty much working, at least in current moment. And usually what we seek in this outlook, when we look at the divergence between the wave 3 and wave 5, we also want to identify that in the RSI, and exactly it is very visible here. So it's still early to make some conclusions, but this type of reversals, especially if we see a smaller 5-way moves on a smaller time frame, will indicate that rates will actually in the next couple of months on the US 10-year yield definitely move lower, potentially in this 1% region. So we will see that how that will unfold in the next weeks. In the European front, this is the German 10-year Bund. As you can see, we have seen only 3 waves to the downside. Currently, we are seeing a spike, small spike in yields on the upside, and the price actually is moving on the upside. Yields are moving on the downside because this is the price chart of the 10-year German Bund, which is the equivalent of the US counterpart. So potentially, still it might be some type of a triangulation here. I was looking for something more complex, but I said that due to some geopolitical event or some economy balancing after COVID, we might see some, um, let's say, corrective price structure developing here, as long as this support level at 155 to 158.7 actually holds. If we see 5 waves up here, definitely we can confirm that one of the probabilities will be this triangulation with the first little bit more complex leg in the wave A, move up in a wave B, C, D, and E. So a little bit more consolidation until year and a half, where we might go again down in deflationary environment. So for now, the situation stays exactly as we were looking for the last couple of months. We are still looking this as to be a corrective price structure as long as this support zone holds, and we can anticipate probability not yet confirmed, but most likely some type of a triangulation will develop here. So if we move to a dollar index, there is a interesting development. We have looked for a possibility of the ending diagonal. Definitely dollar yen, or a yen, dollar, and Swiss franc are the most known safe haven assets. So, or FX pairs. So as we can see here from these levels we observed last week, we are moving sharply higher in dollar, which definitely puts in place this ending diagonal possibility. My levels for this ABC correction goes somewhere around 99.45, 786 retracement from all of this move in a 5 wave from the COVID crisis comes around 99.49, so around 100. So let's see how this goes. So far so good. We have seen a large inflows into a dollar as a safe haven, and we will see if the ending diagonal will actually occur, which most likely it is happening. I will stay following this wave count as long as we trade above this crucial level, which is around 94.64. It is, I think, worthwhile if the situation becomes a little bit more exuberant in the world events. I have looked a possibility this as a triangulation in a dollar index. I don't still think this one will actually unfold. But in this type of situations, when the global events might be fast in actually spreading unrest and fear across the global markets, this will also be a viable scenario. So I will stick with the current outlook. I usually don't make a reserve of wave counts, but in a current global events, we have to be on track if the dollar starts pumping even higher due to this type of development. So I will stick with this scenario. 5 waves down from this level will definitely indicate that this will be a top for the dollar in 2022, maybe a couple of weeks more. I think this will all depend how situation in Ukraine is actually finished. Are it's going to last, or it's going to be finished in a week or two, and definitely that will be priced in by markets if we see the dollar moving lower from these levels and starting to go south into a more corrective nature in this C wave to the downside. So this will be a 5 waves move lower. ABC on the upside following this 1618, which we have been talking for the last couple of even months. And then 5 waves down will indicate that dollar might continue its trajectory to the downside. And there is some global liquidity events that might struck if the dollar continues to go on the upside. Let's see how Fed will react if the dollar start climbing further on the upside, because here in the last movement of the dollar on these highs, Fed was actually enabling countries to approach the swap lines and get the liquidity in dollars. We know that dollar moving higher will definitely struck EAM markets or emerging markets. So let's see how Fed also will behave in the current situation if the dollar starts to see something more exuberant on the upside, passing these levels and going further above it. Okay, so if we look at the indices, there is a couple of supports here. This is the futures on the S&P index, pretty much impulsive move to the downside. First support comes around 3,672. Second support comes around 3,258. If we see a clear 5 waves down on these higher time frames, that will actually open a move in the 5-wave move lower with a pullback in the ABC and the continuation down to some around these zones. This definitely starts to be a potential area now. Depends how of course the situation will develop, but if you switch to a daily chart, this looks definitely impulsive to the downside. There has been some type of a divergence. We might see some corrective pullback, but if this starts to plunge a little bit more downside, that will be definitely characterized as a third wave to the downside, which will definitely prolong this move down in the S&P down to this next support area, which is 400 points from this level, and that will already be a little bit panicking exits around the stocks. DAX is also following a move lower, and we will see what will happen in this situation. It is really not wise to predict much. Definitely this might turn into a more impulsive move. I don't like to panic, and that was not the intention of this, but the severity of this move and a character of it implies potentially, if we see a further downside, that this might be a third wave, which will actually mark this structure as a 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5, some around these levels to the downside. And the same picture we can see on the Nasdaq. If you look the daily chart, we are moving impulsively lower, and that will definitely pose a threat. This also develops into a third wave. There is a couple of supports here technically, so this one is definitely potentially a strong support around 11,000, and we have one which is more immediate, which comes around 12,239. So we are looking all of these markets because of the potential impact on the crypto markets. Let's switch and look some wave counts on the gold, and also we can also look some of the currencies today. So usually Aussie dollar is portrayed as a risk off, risk on currency. So definitely current development might turn heavily to the downside. But the current structure doesn't imply, even if you see this as a 5-wave move and a small pullback, Aussie dollar is actually saying that either we will stop at 0.6642 or a little bit lower. In the case you count this impulsively, it will be at 0.62 or 0.6. So 5-wave move up from the lows, COVID lows, will definitely imply this will be, however you label it, in a corrective form. So that will align definitely with the world stock market. So I think that we will see a little bit more downside, or a little bit more down to 0.6, but then I think it will be a reversal. So the charts to me telling it currently that this will be a couple of weeks affair, and that we might see some type of move up in the Aussie dollar against the US dollar in the coming weeks. So I'm paying very much attention on this type of events, especially when you have some of these indicators. Also, if we look the chart of the New Zealand dollar, which is also implying we are in some type of a potential lows or a little bit lower, but we have clearly seen the 5-wave move on the upside. So this is for now very corrective, which implies a little bit more downside, maybe in a more complex manner, but definitely in the couple of weeks we might see a reversal on the upside. So in the currency front, euro is also moving lower. we have seen a sharp drop currently. And we have to take care of this event. I have this currently down to 110 or 11 or 111 in a 5-wave move, so we have to observe what is going to happen at these levels in euro, especially if we want to see some type of a reversal in dollar. So gold has been broken up from the triangle wave count. So if we are starting the impulsive move on the upside, we have to label this as an E wave. I was looking a little bit more downside. Potentially, it didn't happen. This situation prompted a very sharp move up in gold. So if this has been a wave 1 and a wave 2, we should see a further expansion on the gold above these 2000 levels in the current a week or even a week or two. Currently, we are trading at almost 1955, which for now implies that we have broken two major resistance levels in gold, and as the risk and hedge assets class, it is moving on the upside. It is definitely a risk-averse move, and investors are flocking to gold in these current global events, which is a kind of a known variable in regards of gold when something of the geopolitical events is actually on scene. Also, silver is breaking up. We didn't reach my desired levels, which was around 2021. Silver was a little bit less on the upside in the last couple of days. We didn't cross any key resistance levels. We are flirting with this one. So if we start to develop further, we have to exercise a possibility that this was some type of a low here, and that this was just a one down in two, and we are developing third wave on the upside. So potentially I'm waiting a little bit more of the events and moving on the upside to start labeling this impulsive also in silver. We have also seen everything what is going on to have a huge effect on a Bitcoin. We can also conclude now definitely that Bitcoin is not inflation hedge, or it is not anything of the store of value, at least currently. As you can see, the Bitcoin is moving on the downside. And I want to explain a couple of things in regards of the proposed triangle. Technically, triangle is still valid. So if we observe the wave count invalidation of the potential triangle, it comes around 28,908. So according to the rules, triangle and the wave C cannot trade below the wave A. If we mark wave A here, the actual price of Bitcoin cannot go below, otherwise the triangle has to, or it will become invalid. So for now, technically, triangle is still not invalid. This can turn into some more complex feature with the wave C going even a little bit lower. But for now, I would rather to introduce a potential lower levels. I mean, if we look at the possibility that the current triangle and the current move looks a little bit impulsive to the downside, we will have to introduce a possibility we are in some type of a ending diagonal, reaching this confluence of these very key important levels between 20 and 22K. I'm just going to introduce this wave count. I don't know still, I don't have any clear invalidation levels for a triangle to introduce such a move, but I would like to play on this side as well, because currently you can see that definitely we are seeing some impulsive developments here, and they might turn into a very quick small pullback and to actual test of 30K in the weeks to come if situation starts to be prolonged on the equity markets and also in regards of the geopolitical situation. So one of the proposition in regards how we might see the path towards these levels will be some type of an ending diagonal, which will make this structure a three-way move down in A, move up in B, and down in C. So one of the things which we are looking, especially in regards if you have a flat, is this 1 to 7.2 ratio. So this comes around, as you can see here, almost on the top of the B wave, and the same ratio, if you look on the downside in the expanded flat, it comes around 22,818. So this will be my worst case scenario for the Bitcoin, where this weekly 200 moving average, this base channel, 38%, and a couple of other ratios comes close. There is also a very strict rules in regards of this ending diagonal. So I'm starting to track this. If this is a contracted type, which most likely it is, wave 1 should be the longest one, wave 3 should be a little bit more shorter, and wave 5 definitely needs to be shorter than a wave 3. So if this starts to develop, we will have a rather clear visibility where this wave 5 might finish, and definitely according to looking for some of the ratios, if we consider these things starts to develop in this wave, it will be somewhere around between 22 and 25K. So we have to observe these levels very intensely if we break 28,800. So for me, situation is unclear for now because we didn't invalidate triangle. I'm just presenting a couple of possibilities, and I'm not taking any action in regards of focusing my view that we might have some sharp reversal until we see it. So we can also look Ethereum, and the same picture applies for Ethereum. If we look for a triangle, technically triangle is still not invalidated. So in Ether chart, triangle will be invalidated around 1705. If we match the same picture in regards of a possibility of Ether moving further lower in some type of a same structure as an ending diagonal, or even more impulsively, the next level of a strong support will be at this invalidation level, and the 127 rests as 1282. So just be aware that I'm presenting currently a worst case scenario for a Bitcoin. 38% retracement of these levels comes around 1054 levels. Okay, so this will be my confluence zone if this worst case scenario starts to unfold. And definitely in the current situation, the best thing according to my experience is really to watch these invalidation levels and go step by step. In this type of situation, you don't want to make any sudden conclusions. You want to look and observe clear technical levels and actually save your capital until the picture starts to be a little bit more visible from the perspective either technical or geopolitically what is going to happen. So we are neutral. I was stopped out, as I said last time, looking for a 5 waves up in a Bitcoin. That's fine. I mean, that's a part of trading, but now I'm not going to take any positions until I have at least any clarity in regards of triangle invalidation, or if I see signs that we see a dramatic move to the downside, kicking actually this worst case scenario, which might take us sizably down and cut even Ethereum price for more than 50% from these levels where we are trading currently. So I will advise everybody to watch the same. So watch for the key levels of support, watch for some confirmation. Even if you trade on the downside, you should be aware of these key resistance levels. And I've been through a couple of these type of situations in my trading career. So the best thing, if you don't have a position, at least I am following that. I am neutral until the clarity appears and the things are actually cooled down, especially in the stock market. So I'm not gonna make any moves currently in that regard. If you look the situation on the altcoins, everybody's or everything is dropping pretty dramatically on the downside, which is expected in regards of the current events. Our Litecoin wave count is looking for a move down to the levels around 74. We are still going to observe these levels in the Litecoin. We still do see this as a potential complex pullback here down to these 76, 74 levels. Wave count invalidations are at 52, so these levels must hold, and we must see something impulsively in this potential orange wave 5 on the upside, in line with the Bitcoin and the Ether chart. So I will also look for some type of clues from these lows, and until then I will be not be involved actually in trying to go long against the current market flows, and that will basically be going against the majority of crowd, which is now actually shorting almost everything. If we look some other cryptos, Tron is actually not losing much of the current move. We have seen a wave 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5. So I will be looking Tron moving a little bit lower. If we get some of the equality ratios here, we might see that equality comes around 0.0336. So for now, the current wave structure implies we might have a little bit more downside in Tron. As I see, you have asked for Tron. A couple of cryptos that I will be looking as a nice consolidation. You will see that they are still in a very much sideways consolidation. I will go to the Dogecoin as well, since everybody from my perspective is looking also for the Dogecoin lows. So still Binance Coin, still consolidation, triangle is still valid, either A up in B down in C, a little bit lower, but I don't see anything dramatic. For now, we are still trading on these higher time frames in the line of the previous lesser degree wave 4. I will enlarge this chart, you can see it. So I will still not panic in regards of a couple of charts that I see in cryptos. Also, Matic is holding pretty nicely. It is 10% move lower, but it's still, as you can see, very well confined into some type of a consolidation, searching for a potential either a triangle or a little bit lower in this wave 4, but the uptrend still stays intact. If you look the higher time frames, so always when I'm faced with this situation, I tend to go and look higher time frames and what is going on. And definitely, even if this doesn't turn as a triangle, we have a couple of other forms which will indicate that we are going to search some type of a wave 4 lows in a week or a couple of weeks ahead. So let me also look for a Dogecoin chart, because this is one of the meme coins which bothers, I see a lot of community also in the Twitter. So I will just address Dogecoin now, and I will show you a longer term chart. I also think we are in the intermediary wave 4 on Doge. We were looking this correction for a sizable time now, and if you look the weekly chart on Doge, this also portrays a possibility. We are trading at the lowest range in the RSI, and I labeled this as a wave 4. I will show you that on the charts here. So this is a smaller time frame on Dogecoin. So if you look the wave count, looking for a possible wave 4 is still actually unfolding. So we are within the parameters of the possibilities. We will go a little bit lower, down around 0.01, sorry, 0.081 or 0.064. So this will be my zone where the previous fourth wave of the lesser degree lies, where this blue zone rests. So I'm still going to label this as a pullback in a wave 4 in anticipation of the further continuation on the upside. So this higher time frame view can save you a lot of trouble, because if you look at it, you will see that we don't have any indication that this is developing for now in a third wave on the downside. Any sharp move passing these support levels can be characterized as a third wave, and then we can label this differently. But for now, I don't want to do that, because on all of these wave counts, I'm still looking for a fourth wave pullback and the continuation on the upside. So from my perspective, I don't think that this is the end of the world for cryptos. I also don't think this is the end of the crypto space, like I see some people hearing. The most catastrophic sentiment is actually starting to be put out. Let's look also some of the wave counts in the Theta and Aave. So I have been watching this in the last couple of crypto labs. So if you see also the Theta chart, you can see that this type of corrective AB down in C towards these levels. If you look the whole wave structure, we are still trading within the confluence of the fourth wave, which is also confirming that potentially if this levels holds, cryptos after this passes in a couple of weeks will start to recover on the upside. So I have the same wave count in Aave. If we look Aave, and I think I have shown that a couple of times, I still do think that we are trading within the confluence of the potential fourth wave, looking a little bit lower down to these levels, and I'm very curious to see if this wave structure will actually unfold, and that this can be labeled as a corrective. So as you can see here, we cannot see 5 waves down. From the top, we can only identify 3 waves down. In the middle, we can identify wave A, triangle B, up in C for X, and we are working down in 5 waves in A, up in B, and a move down in C. Also, potentially equality between these two comes around 102 or 100 levels. So it will be very interesting to see what will happen. Also 200 moving average rests there, which you cannot see on this weekly level. Let me see if I can include it here. So I think that will be a very strong support levels there. And I'm still not in regards of these price moves, I'm still not panicking and waiting patiently the levels we might achieve. As you can see, 200 moving average on Aave comes around 96, 98. So it will be very telling what we are going to see, and actually will this corrective form actually unfold like we have it here. Thank you on the attention. Let's go and see your questions and comments. Joe is asking that he's 100% in cash. Do you think it's worth buying 50%? I mean, I usually don't give this type of advices. I'm not an investment manager. I can tell you what I will do if I will be in that situation. I will definitely not make any move currently. I am relatively conservative in that approach. I would like to wait some confirmations. I would like to see where is the sentiment and where is the most potential black point in this sentiment. You remember we talked about this sentiment while we were looking Bitcoin and the crypto winter, which has started much before that. I think majority of the financial participants in the crypto market actually observed. On the Bitcoin chart, we think that the crypto winter started in March 2021, when actually this correction started, and we consider all of this to be a corrective move. So the same thing will happen on the downside. If you look the sentiment here on the Bitcoin, here the 99.9% of the market was actually blinded by the sentiment and actually calling Bitcoin to go 150, 200K, and definitely we have seen that that has not unfolded, especially also in the secondary sentiment. Here we have seen market calling 100K for the end of the year. This didn't happen, and now when the sentiment is becoming predominantly negative, you have to also watch where this sentiment will reach its worst actually fear, and that will be the reversal point. So the same point here, when the sentiment was so bullish that actually Bitcoin reversed. I think the same we will see here. When the sentiment becomes the worst and everything looks black, we might actually look for a potential lows, and I will not be taking any long position until I see some type of a confirmation of these lows. And when I see actually a confirmation or a 5-way move up, at least on 4-hour charts, from some of these levels, either around 30K, 28K, or 20 to 22K, and I will not actually go against of this trend to the downside and against of this sentiment. So you have to be aware of that pretty much, and follow the sentiment on the downside. So Schnitzel, pozdrav Schnitzel. Schnitzel is always saying hello on Serbian. Hello Schnitzel. Thank you, Amit. Good day to you also. We will check XRP. ADA is moving towards lower levels. Schnitzel is asking if we follow if we fall below 32K, how I will mark that. I have already told you how do I see situation with the triangle. These current developments imply most likely that wave count will be invalidated, but I don't want to confirm it until I see it. So okay, 28,800 for me is the triangle invalidation. This is my secondary scenario, which now has a little bit of more weighting, so it's a little bit more possible. But I don't want to confirm it until I see a break of a triangle. So usually when you are faced with this type of events and with this type of market reaction, you need to go step by step. So don't fall immediately to going to worst case scenario, wait until it's confirmed. Okay, so this is actually everybody sees drama, but you need to see a possible opportunity in this type of events, because if this actually proves to be correct and we go lower, you have to be observant of these levels, because if this holds and starts to develop a bullish wave structure, this will be a phenomenal opportunity on the upside. Okay, so just go step by step. Don't rush into things. There is no rushing here, because you can make some grave mistakes. So be calm and just watch a crucial support and resistance levels and behave according to that. I mean, that's what I'm doing. So. Okay, so let's look the chart of the Ripple. I see everybody wants to see this, so let's look what the Ripple is doing. And we have looked the Ripple chart a couple of times, yeah, Ripple, I mean, this is a pretty impulsive move, so, but I don't think this is something huge on the downside yet. As you can see on the weekly level, 200 moving average support comes around 0.48. So we can look Ripple in a couple of ways. We can also observe this as a potential leading diagonal. This will be some type of a wave A, up in B, and a leading diagonal in C down to this 0.48 or 0.41. Or we can look Ripple for the current development in some type of a triangulation as well, if you look the higher time frames. Okay, so this is just a blip. So this is on a trading view. If we switch to this chart, we can look also, I think I have a wave count on Ripple that actually encompasses a bigger time frame. Yeah, that's one. So this will be actually still the same wave C development, then a wave D and a wave E, and then we look more on the upside. So for now, this wave count worked. Although I don't like much this triangle, it's way too big than a potential wave 2. Okay, so I would rather label this in some type of a leading diagonal, and then looking this as a corrective pullback down to this 0.4, 0.38 levels in an ABC, then a triangle. But let's see. I mean, this type of situations you want to have a couple of options. Although triangle is a little bit more unfortunate pattern, which doesn't have a nice proportion with the events that happened before. So if you look at the levels on the downside and the current developments, definitely this starts to look impulsive. We have seen only 3 waves up, although this C wave was relatively sharp. We also have some type of a, it's not small, but it's rather insignificant wave count invalidation. I don't know if this spike, sometimes you have these spikes and they are not very true. So this is a wave 1, wave 2, we are working down some type of a wave 3 or anything of a corrective of a nature. We should see a new lows in Ripple, and the first support will be around 0.5 and the second support will be around 0.38, so close to 0.4. So watch these support levels and watch some developments from them. So the first support is here and the secondary support is actually a little bit lower, around 0.385. Okay, so this will be my orientation for now, or above the wave counts that I'm looking. So I want to see what is going to occur when we actually, and if we hit the support levels. In the meantime, I will just observe. I don't see this as a potential entry of any kind while we are moving lower. TLME, I didn't do that chart, I think. TLME, let me see what here is happening. This one is obviously moving lower. As you can see, it is developing for now a pretty impulsive wave structure to the downside. We still don't see any type of a 5-wave reversal, and if we count the current sequence, it looks like we will even go a little bit lower here, because if you count this as a 1, 2, down in 3, small pullback in 4 and 5, we don't have a past data to look what happened before. I guess this is a little bit of a new issuance or a new crypto from 2021. So currently you don't see any reversal on the upside, and moreover, if you look a smaller time frame, this one looks relatively impulsive to the downside, as you can see. So there has been a wave 1 up in 2, and even if you count this as a 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5, this looks like a continuation of the potential move lower in this TLM. It's a lion words against the dollar. I think I didn't look before this crypto chart. So, okay, guys, thank you on the attention. I don't see any more requests. If you have any requests more, type it in, because we are about to end this stream with the current update. L is asking OGN. I also didn't think that I have looked at this crypto. It is origin. And it also looks pretty much on the downside. So let's look at the higher time frames. And this one is interesting because we see a 5-wave move up and a 3-wave pullback. So in order this to stay within this parameter, actually this correction needs to hold these levels of equality, and we are pretty much close to there. As you can see on this one, equality comes around, let me just see, it comes around 0.1938. Okay, so usually what we do in this type of cases, we want to see some type of a corrective channel, because sometimes it's not so prudent to put these channels in a trading view charts. But anyhow, you get the idea. And we want to put there some type of retracement levels, which has to be around 0.786, which comes around there. So from these levels, you need to see something more impulsive on the downside. Any break of these levels to the downside will imply that either we're going to get a double bottom or even further lower. So watch carefully what will happen between 0.206 and 0.1938 on this chart, because in that case, if we see a 5-wave move, and actually even a move above this channel, we will label this either as A, B, C on the upside, or a wave 1 and 2 and development of a third wave on the upside. But we don't have any signs that actually any reversal is visible currently. Okay. Yeah, we already looked the Binance chart, so you can go back and watch the stream. Okay, let's see near. Schnitzel is asking near. Yeah, near is still moving to the downside. So I've looked for a potential of this before, as you can see, either a 1-2 on the upside or a leading diagonal. If you look the current developments, most likely we are in the leading diagonal. So it will be this, what is unfolding, looking for the current pullback. So if we want, because we are already entering, or we didn't enter yet, but if we enter into the territory of the wave 1, this can be only 1-2, 1-2, or it can be a leading diagonal in 1, down in 2. So I will advise you to look here at support levels. As you can see here from this potential fifth wave here, we labeled a potential move lower, which is actually happening, and the support level has to be around 5.86 on near. Any penetration of these levels to the downside will suggest most likely this is 1-2, 1-2, and this can extend losses down to 4.58. So that will be my levels to watch. If we are in this leading diagonal, which was presented in the case we fail to move on the upside, it will be something like this. So this will be a wave 1 and 2 up in 3, 4, and 5, and this will be an ABC correction. And actually, usually when you have this type of formation, this 38% retracement will be a solid support level, which comes around 5.79 or around 6.10. So this will be the zone which has to be observed very carefully, because any further continuation will imply this is actually a third wave, and then you have to look a little bit more to the downside in this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So be careful of these support levels. They will be crucially important on here. Algorand. Yeah, we are still within the parameters of the fourth wave. This starts to look impulsive, which is not very good. We need to hold these current levels, okay, in some type of a potential flat here. We have to now label this as a potential flat. We are already invalidating the wave 1, which is not good. And definitely we have to address this from the perspective of a potential leading diagonal now. This I don't think can be a wave 2, because we will have a degree violation here. So this wave count is definitely crossing some of the levels, which implies we are still didn't cross it enough, because it was not on a closing basis. As you can see, we didn't cross it completely, but at 0.638, this wave count will be invalidated, and we will have to look for some type of a flat correction here, and we will have to actually change a wave count. So be aware this starts to develop impulsively, and in that case, this will be actually 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5, with a little bit of a lower levels here, somewhere around 0.4598. So be aware that this starts to develop and look pretty much impulsively to the downside. Yeah, I don't have much to say on Shiba. I mean, Shiba is something that I don't like much in that regards. I was looking for a potential triangle, still possible. We didn't invalidate it, but this was only a three-way move on the upside, and you have to be aware of that. We have to hold these levels because even if you have some type of a triangulation, and this is a wave A up in B, C, D, and E, if the wave 4 is above these levels, it will be valid. But if you look the picture without these labels, you will see that This move down was in 3 waves, and we have developed only 3 waves correction, which implies you might see a new lows. Okay, so the support on Shiba, in the situation Bitcoin goes down to 25K, will be definitely around this 0.888 levels where the previous consolidation was. Okay, so be very careful in regards of that. We have crossed some of the a strong support here. We might have a smaller pullbacks on a smaller time frame, but definitely a move below this line will imply we might fall even further. So then you have to look the next support levels, which are around 0.888 or 0.910. Okay, so be careful very much of trying to go long here. I will not advise that to anybody until you see whatever confirmation and the situation calms down. So we might experience even further significant losses if the stock market starts to tank. And in this situation, you don't know what happens. Be careful trading. So if you do, you can do very small trades like intraday trades, but nothing on the longer term. Wave counts currently, the sentiment is becoming stronger to the downside, and in one point it will reach its peak, where is potentially a time to consider possibly some of the longs with a very small amounts, and they'll adding as you see the confirmation. So be careful. Okay, guys, so let's look one more. N is a member, I think. So let's look for N Star Atlas. I don't know what is the Star Atlas. Okay, I don't think I looked at chart. So let's see. I think, oh my God, this doesn't look good at all. Let me see if there is a higher time frame or a bigger chart for Star Atlas. Oh, no, there is not. So, yeah, be very careful on this one. This develops a very strong impulsive structure. I see it's a new coin. So for now, you have to be aware that you have to start to count this impulsively to the downside. You never know when the new coin is issued. Sometimes I have seen some of the developments here in the wave A, B, and big C. So I don't like to analyze so much this type of coins because some type of a large pump or something can happen out of the blue. But for now, this starts to look pretty much impulsive to the downside, tracing potential 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5. We might see some type of a small pullback soon. I have to do a more thorough analysis for potential support levels because you don't have anything on this coin which unfolded before. So in this situation, all the things you can do is actually you can look some type of a fib ratios that might give you some type of an orientation. So in that respect, we have to look a couple of fib ratios which are 1618 or a 200 or even 2618. So we can draw in this couple of ratios which served us well in March of 2021. So 1618 comes around 1.499 here, and 200 comes around 0.93. The RSI already starts to display a little bit of divergence. So potentially some of the support levels can be around 1.49. Okay, and you want to see, of course, on a smaller time frame, some type of a confirmation of a potential reversal from these highs. This looks like a 1, 2, down in 3, small correction in 4, and potentially down to a wave 5 on smaller time frames down to this zone. Okay, I think that's That's the one, or there is the other one? Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so this is the same chart. Okay, guys, thank you very much on the attention. I will maybe even introduce one more stream, public, if I see something more exuberant happening according to our views. So let me summarize it. I don't think it's a time to be brave on the market. It's a time to be relatively neutral if you are not short and looking for these wave structures to show you where the market wants to go. 28.8 will be my key level, invalidating triangle, and then the next key level on the Bitcoin will be 25 and 20K, which I will be looking. I will do most likely, if we see these prices moving strongly today or tomorrow, I will actually do another stream between these two, and you can subscribe and of course like our content, and also you can subscribe just to get notified if we're gonna get the emerging stream, if we see something more exuberant happening in the next couple of days. So also, you can look our work at trading analysis. We have extensive crypto service. We didn't took any official positions, and I'm not intending to take it until I see what is going on. We have been prepared either for a triangle as a first scenario, or a worst case scenario down to 22K for already long time. One of these scenarios is actually starts to weight more in the current situation, and we have been very patient watching this correction unfolding for almost year and a half, and we will try to position ourselves on the long side in the appropriate timing, where the sentiment, if it becomes even more worse than it's now, and on some key technical levels that we see unfolding, and of course in a little bit lighter form, we will inform you also on this public channel of what we think it's going on. So thank you for the attention. If you won't hit the like button, you know I hate this sentence, but you know that will help us, our contact and more following in the YouTube. Stay well and don't be brave. It is not time for longs. Okay, guys, thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.